Ayo Stinkies, welcome back to another YouTube video. I'm Kruz, aka Kruzadar. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and we're continuing on the Ask Kruz series. To be exact, we're on Ask Kruz number 4. If you don't know, this is a series where I kind of more or less answer your guys' questions. It is more convenient. I know I obviously stream, but there's a lot of you that don't watch that. And so this is kind of our place to answer questions that are coming up all the time, whether it be about things going on, just really whatever kind of questions that you have with the channel, myself, or advice, things like that. So yeah, well, I should say advice unless it's something that pertains to more I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably make this into a video. One example being the content creation video. If you're curious about that, I always get questions about content creation. I am totally down to do a more in-depth one, but in terms of starting an overall starting content creation and some base advice for getting into it, really recommend checking this video out right here. Really well done. I still stick by everything that's in there, but I am totally down to do another content creation video. Again, there's a lot of like rehashed questions and stuff, but if there's like more specifics, I can totally brainstorm and put something together for you guys. So that aside, I'm gonna go ahead and start sifting through the questions you guys have asked on this. If you have any questions for the next Ask Kruz video for when I do it, please throw them down below. Even if I don't get to them immediately, I will read them once I go to recording the videos. So I tend to give you guys a heads up when I am recording other videos, but obviously if you're not a part of the series too frequently, you won't know. So I really recommend when you're thinking of them to throw them down below, and I will try and hopefully get to answering your questions. Ghost Gaming, with an Ask Kruz, have I ever dealt with depression? Yes, I have. And if so, how do you cope with it? Because I know everyone is different in the way they cope. So I've been, again, it's kind of trigger stuff, right? I've had really bad depression before. I'm very glad I didn't make any of the decisions that I was contemplating at the time without getting into details on numerous different occasions. And I'm very glad I'm here. I would have missed out on a lot. And that's like really the biggest thing I can say to other people. I've been through so much crap, and I've seen through so much crap that I don't really talk about to you guys. It's just, I don't like throwing that at everybody that has ever watched my content. Even same with streaming. Like, even though I tell my stream more than YouTube, there's still so much crap I have never like told my Twitch community, things in that regard, or even you guys, right? I've alluded at to very like small things, but I just don't like getting into shit too much. So in terms of coping, what I did back then and what I still do now when I get upset, though, I just keep myself busy. That's what works for me. Gaming, being busy, hanging out with people that I appreciate and that appreciate me, that love me, family, boyfriend, friends, all that stuff. I tend to try and decompress, take a day off, just do a little bit of me time. But sometimes gaming and streaming literally is something that I just need. Like, I don't want to be around people, but I want to be with people. Like, and I put that both in quotes because it's like, it just kind of depends on my mood and stuff. So yeah, that's my broad but pretty in-depth answer, I guess, if that makes sense, without, going again too far into a hole of stuff. But yeah, got Bova. Hey Kruz, how long have you known the crew? So I know I've actually answered this on TikTok before. So I met the crew, like, I've watched them since Crewcraft, like Xbox 360 days, like modern, like, Call of Duty, all that crap. I started content creation. I'd been on Twitch since 2014. I started content creation in 2015. Deluxe actually found my content lurking and everything before he even like really talked to me, but in 2015 he'd watched my content. So before I had like a face cam, like literally anything, he was supporting my stuff. Well, I remember he followed me, and then we just, I was bantering with him and back and forth, yada yada yada. We all started gaming outside of recording and streaming. We were playing like Counter-Strike, all that stuff, which is actually how Deluxe had found me. There weren't many people on the platform at the time, and I literally was like a 5 or 10 viewer Andy back at that point in time. So like, I'm surprised Deluxe like even found it. It's the sort of things like that. But we all hit it off. Deluxe I met first. I obviously met the rest of the crew after that, but we've been friends since literally 2015. Like, a lot of people don't know that, or think that we didn't start playing together until the new Modern Warfare came out, the newer one rather, the one that came out in 2019. When you first started to stream, did you feel awkward talking by yourself, or did you have friends to play with? I started streaming alone. Well, I didn't tell my buddies. So the very first time I went live was on my Xbox One. My buddies did not know I was streaming. It was Grant and Max, and we were just playing some Minecraft, and I went live on my Xbox, and so back then you couldn't, with the default Xbox headset, they couldn't hear Twitch chat with how it was set up with the like the just audio and blah blah blah, things like that, right? So I just would I would mute in the party chat, and even if I muted in party chat, Twitch chat could still hear me. So I would just talk to like the 1 or 2 viewers that came in and hang out with them and kind of talk. That was my very first stream. So like I didn't tell any of my buds for a long time. I was very discreet about it, and the ones that did find out, I actually found out because I didn't know that it posted notifications when I went live. So if you like went really out of your way to see the activity feed, then those friends knew about that more or less, but I didn't tell people. So most of the time, it was a good chunk of the time, it was kind of, well, it was solo part of the time. Like I would stream Advanced Warfare. That was when that was out. I would play that and solo that and talk to Twitch chat. Played Smite with my buds sometimes at the start, and then also Minecraft. But you know, I kind of did a little bit of both. I would say I go back and forth. It's not too different than I do now, I guess. Yeah. Ask Kruz, what are like basic necessities to start streaming? Your console or computer and a mic. Yeah, that's really it. You don't need a camera or anything. And again, the content creation video I talked about at the start goes more in depth on that question, but you don't need thousands of dollars of equipment. And again, I'll explain that more in this video if you go and watch that, and I really recommend it. I think it'll help you out a lot. But yeah, it's gonna be super sappy. So Derpy Dan asked me, ask Kruz, what's the most memorable moment from your streaming career? So the most recent one, like there's a bunch of things that like are considered memorable moments, but the one that really sticks out to me that is more somewhat recent, it was on my birthday. I'm gonna get sappy. So my best friend passed away in September of 2020, and him and I, we'd been best friends for like 5-6 years at that point. It's been a while now, right, since stuff has happened. We always were like the first people, yo, happy birthday dude, like, you know, call him on other things like that. Well, I was very stressed at the time, and I wasn't telling my Twitch chat about it because they didn't know anything going on. Again, I don't like venting that stuff. But on my birthday, I started streaming on the 14th, and I kept streaming in through the 15th. And I just didn't talk about it. I was like, I need to stream, I need to escape, I need to game. Like I don't want to deal with stuff right now. And it was a really good distraction. I was playing Cyberpunk, and I really appreciated it. And when I say it meant so fucking much to me, the amount of people that were just so nice there and like were such a good escape. Like I had people there to distract me, and I literally had to turn off my camera because I was very upset with I'm getting a little upset here right now, so I apologize. But it meant so fucking much to me that, you know, I don't get sappy with money, numbers, blah, blah. I get like what really hits me is like the kind words and the nice messages that were all there. And then all the messages that were in Discord, just like really sweet stuff about like how they found the community and all this other stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to not get upset right now, so I'm kind of talking funny. But that's the most memorable one that, you know, y'all will never quite understand how much I appreciated. But that's the one that I would say most memorable that really sticks out to me is like just how appreciative I was for the community and stuff on that night. And yeah, it was a very nice distraction, all that shit. So I've had like all huge numbers and milestones and other, again, great things that have happened, but that is the most memorable for me and appreciative. Does that kind of make sense? Nick Aristo asking, ask Kruz, how have you thought about possibly streaming playing the Mass Effect series with the release of Legendary Edition, or is there something is that not something on your radar? I've actually never played a Mass Effect game. It's really hard for me to get into sci-fi type games, so I don't know if Mass Effect is something I'm ever really going to play, if I'm going to be honest. Karudo, have I ever went through surgery? If so, was recovery hard to deal with? I just went through surgery myself and was just wondering how everyone else's recovery went. Sorry, sensitive to some people. So I have had first grade, I had my tonsils and adenoids removed because mold really bothers me. It's a big reason I have issues with pollen, like allergies, though it's not to the extent of what it was, but I had a lot of issues with breathing. And so there wasn't really there was no fixing that. Mold's literally everywhere. We couldn't have indoor plants, like all this other stuff. So they removed my tonsils and adenoids. Tonsils, you know, obviously you know that. And your adenoids is up in your nose. And so they swell up. And so it's not, swelling and stuff isn't nearly as bad, but I had those removed. So that was my first surgery. Second surgery would have been and I was fine after that. I don't remember having issues. I remember having issues with yelling at my sister, or we were playing at the neighbor's house or something, and my sister was doing something she wasn't supposed to do, so I was like yelling. You're not supposed to do that when you get your tonsils out, so maybe that's why my voice is deeper. I fucked it up. You know, that and softball probably fucked my voice too. My other surgery that I had after was my freshman year. I've had knee issues like my entire life. My dad doesn't have a history of good knees in sports and stuff like that either, so it was kind of expected to happen more or less, but my knee blew out 3 times in one night. It was October time because I was hanging out with a friend. She was at my house. My knee gave out. I have a really, really high pain tolerance, but like I was like laughing it off and shit, but it felt so bad. And then I went to school the next day, and I like pretty much got to the point where I could not walk. My knee felt so horrible. So we went ahead and we followed back up with them, and then he finally agreed to do the damn MRI on my knee, and my kneecap had gotten to the point, because it wasn't getting blood flow through it properly. My kneecap was like a sponge, so I had to have an orthoscopic surgery on my knee. They had to drill holes in my kneecap. He did something unnecessary that I didn't necessarily need, which was he cut the inner muscle to try and compensate for how my muscle kind of, I can't remember the specifics of the muscle and stuff like that. But because of how my knee essentially was aligned, things like that, because it kept pulling my kneecap over. I also had a bunch of debris that was in my knee, so they cleaned that out and shit. And so I had a whole recovery process after that. The doctor that did the surgery, or the surgeon / doctor, actually lied to me about my recovery for that. He told me 6 to 8 weeks when I had it done, and so that was of course what I told my softball coach. And I was a freshman. There was some stuff that happened with the senior players, and they were planning for me to start varsity. I was like, yeah, it's supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks, blah, blah, blah. All this other stuff. I was like, that's what he told me. This is the note, blah, blah, blah. Here's this crap. So I go in for my follow-up after you go in for the first week, everything's fine. Then you go in like at the 4-week mark or the 6-week mark. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like good. Can I go back? And he's like, no, blah, blah, you have to go. It's, you need another month. Okay. Then it was another month, and then I'm like, yo, we're past this deadline, like, and he's like, no, it's 8 months. And I was like, what? That's not what you told us, nor like this that we have here, all this other shit. Like, anyways, that was a horrible deal. So that fucked with my head. My softball coach wasn't happy. I was very depressed at the time, and I got really frustrated because my softball coach acted like that was my fault, not knowing what the bullshit that I had to deal with the doctor. And that doctor was very unprofessional too. He said some like choice words behind the scene, and like he was very rude and all this other shit. But yeah, after that, I had an appendectomy because my appendix was it was going to rupture, obviously, like appendix issues. We love a good appendix, bro. Migs1 and Google. Ask Kruz, will you stream or record with your dad? I don't see it happening currently. My dad doesn't like showing his face. He totally will goof around and stuff like that, or like very briefly do stuff. So I don't know if I'll have him involved in a video really per se, but I've told him I would love to play Portal 2 with him. And I did get him a gaming PC for Christmas a few years ago. That would be fun. I would love to. He's played Witcher 3 like 4 or 5 times over. Like he loves the fuck out of that. Q&A, what would I say is my greatest achievement? My mom and dad's side are like, we do huge family get-togethers. Like my cousins are practically my siblings and shit. And I had this conversation with Taylor the other day that, I am very grateful for that. That is not common anymore. People being as close as everybody is. My aunts and uncles are like my second parents. Like we're all so fucking close. Like it's great. Everybody is there for one another, even if we end up not talking all the time, we all like hanging out with one another. Like it's really good. I would say that's a great fucking achievement. That's like irreplaceable. And again, I don't know if it's considered really an achievement, but again, it's like I'm very proud of that. What headset do I use? From Eric Miranda. This is the DT770 Pros. I use the 80 ohms. I forget what the other ohm option is, but long story short, mixers for computers and gaming and stuff, broadcasters generally can't take more than that. So you can buy the ones that are like, I think the other option's like a 200 ohm or something. It's kind of a waste for you to get a 200 ohm. My buddy who does studio music, I asked for his advice, and he pretty much was like, unless you're going to a huge producer setup, blah, 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 that type of mixer, a 200 ohm pair of studio headphones is not going to be beneficial to you. Might need more power, all that other crap. So that's what was explained to me. That's what I'll say there. So if you get them, don't get the uber expensive 200 ohm ones. It's unnecessary. You're not going to get its full use out of it, and you're just going to waste money on it. Ask Kruz, what are conventions like, and do I plan on doing any in the future? I would love to go to more conventions. I don't know if TwitchCon's going to happen this year. I would really like to maybe go to a con though this year. Well, it just kind of depends on how things play out. There's a lot of IRL stuff going on. Conventions aren't bad. It's definitely how do I put it? It's gross in the extent to the point that people don't care about their hygiene. Like, that's something I never really like with cons, but it is great in terms of you get to hang out with friends, you get to see people you've wanted to meet. The food is always good. I'm a foodie, so like I'm always like, yes, traveling food. That's always really good. It's cool to see different cities and things like that they're always in. It's cool that you can, you know, play games, try those things out, ask companies like questions on their products, all that other crap. I like TwitchCon I really like, but I don't, you know, they have game stuff there, but it's just kind of hit and miss, you know. It really depends on what's going on. You're more there when you go to cons and stuff generally for community aspects, unless those places are heavily built around gaming stuff. I would love to go to one. I talked about it, TwitchCon. I'm like kind of on the fence. I really want to go, but I just don't know it just depends. Like, it sounds like stupid, but I really would like a booth. There's a lot of people, and it's been like, I've been really big now for like 2 years. And I just would love to have like an organized spot to meet everybody safely. I don't mind, by the way, if you guys see me outside of, whether it be at a convention or outside of a convention, as long as you just say who you are and how you know me, so I don't like, you know, just fucking remove your testicles or your tits from you, because I am concerned. I'm a very like big security person. I don't want to fuck somebody up on accident. You know, don't just follow me around creepily, sort of thing. But aside from that, I will probably, you know, give you a big hug and be very excited, and all that shit. But yeah. I would love to go to a con again. I miss them. San Diego has great food. There's a place called Water Grill, and oh my God. Ask Kruz, am I going to do a setup video soon? This is from Christian Prince. I don't know. I am looking into moving this year, so I don't know. I mean, I may have talked about it before. I'm staying in my parents' place. I'm renting at my parents' place. I just really am not comfortable filming here, and I never plan to do a house tour sort of thing. I don't mind doing like a room tour, but it's just, my setup's cleaner than it was, so I'm not really opposed. I feel weird if I were to kind of do one, I guess, but I mean, we can set a goal for it. What are we at right now? If we get to 400,000, I am totally like, I could do a setup tour if you guys really want. We can set that as the goal, 400,000 subs. Thank you guys so much for asking all the questions. I know I can't get to all of them, but I do really recommend, if there's any ones you want me to get to, throwing them down below. I'm trying to kind of sort them by whatever is the most asked questions for the most part, and kind of sifting through from there. But if I did not get to your question, I apologize. Hopefully I can get to it in the next video. That's again why we kind of try to do the series a little bit regularly. So maybe I can try and do them a little bit more often. Ask your questions down below for what you would like to know in the next Ask Kruz video if I did not already answer it in this one. I appreciate you guys so fucking much. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. If you don't know, all my social media is the exact same as here. It's Kruzadar, Kruz-ADAR, and I've talked about it before, but we have merch going on currently with Dream. 10% of every purchase goes towards mental health awareness charities, as well as you're going, you know, getting a good cause. You're supporting creators, communities, future designs, all that sort of shit. So I really recommend checking it out. It'll only be live for another week and a half, 2 weeks left. It launched on the 26th. It is a 30-day limited time launch. So if you're interested in it, feel free to go check it out. Code Kruz, 10% off. Save yourself some money, all that jazz. I appreciate you guys so freaking much. If you like the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and hit the sub button down below. I do make a bunch of other content, so if you're interested, feel free to check all that shit out. And I hope to see you guys on the other videos and elsewhere. Have a fantastic rest of your evening, my dudes. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.